Hi, I hope you're doing well and welcome to October. So, I wanted to talk about the transits that I'm looking at for this month ahead. And because it is October, the one thing that always happens in October is that we have the sun moving through, well, what I call the awareness gates, but also the splenic fear gates, which is a big theme because we also have Mercury for the first little bit of the month, right until sort of the 21st of October, is going to be going through those same gates. So we have an activation of a lot of the splenic gates, which bring all these energies for awareness to understand what exactly the energy is trying to tell us. But I do have a whole video on the splenic gates, so I will leave the link below if you want to have more information. But ultimately, it means that it's easy to get drawn into what I would call the thick of things, where people are trying to use fear as a tool to basically make people listen or to control. In my opinion, this theme of fear and using it as a tool to get what you want is especially a theme for this month of October, because we do have the nodes in the gate 17. The north node is in the 17.3 and the south node is in the gate 18 line 3. If you look at the gate 18 line 3, it is called the zealot, which means that the gate 18 is basically an energy that is about correction for patterns that are no longer working. All the criticisms and the things that are sort of, you could say, wrong in the patterns or the structures or the patterns that we live by. You look at things that eventually it starts to wear. So if you build a fence, 30 years from now, that fence starts to get weak, or maybe even before that. And then you have to start to repair it. And sometimes you can't repair it. In fact, you have to replace it. And this is really what the gate 18 does. And it gives all this energy to the gate 48. It's like the stream, and says it's the well where you find all the criticism. And eventually this leads to change. What happens with the gate 18 line 3, it's called the zealot, and that really talks about this idea of wanting to throw everything away, almost to the point of being fanatical, and using fear as a tool to say, well, if you don't fix this, everything's going to collapse around you. So you have the gate 18 line 3 that is going to be activated in the nodes. In the south node is activating this energy of the gate 18 line 3 for the full month of October. The other perspective is we have the North Node in the gate 17 line 3. Now, this is called the Fellowship of Humanity. This is about human rights. This is about just people in general. And it is talking about the patterns of our lives as well. Both the gate 18 and the gate 17 are logical energies. And so they really do talk about patterns. But we know that patterns are not necessarily life lived. And to find life lived, we have to look at the abstract, which is the places where we find experiential energy. And that would be like the 3536, the 5342, the 6447, the 1156. All these channels are abstract energy. And of course, there are more. What it basically is saying is that logic comes up with a plan, but then that plan is lived out in the real world. And that is what we call life. And so somebody could say, well, if you don't fix this, everything's going to collapse. So if you don't fix that fence today, it's going to break tomorrow, or it's going to fall down tomorrow. And then tomorrow comes and it doesn't fall down. I'm not saying that we need to wait till something is really broken to repair it. But what I am saying is that there's a great potential for a lot of people to want to sort of feed into this energy of fear and talk about the idea that everything is collapsing around them. We're in decline. Everything is completely broken. And the only way that you can get it fixed is, I'm going to help you out. I'm going to make it all better for you. So this is really trying to control people based on the idea that you are their savior. You're going to make it all better. The gate 17 line 3, on the other hand, says we make changes in life and in patterns one day at a time. Nothing is ever going to happen in one day. What this basically says is that anything in your life that needs to be corrected or changed, or even in the globe, or the environment, anything around the world that needs to be changed, it doesn't get changed in one day. It is the everyday things that we do, the small steps that we take, that improve our lives. This is really saying that those people who are saying that the sky is falling are not really telling you the truth. And it will be really easy to get swept away into this energy of anxiety and fear and those types of things. But having said that, if you have the awareness to take a step back and say that, okay, I'm going to be fine. I am moving forward in my own process and not really buying into all the fear, really, the fear mongering that could be very potential within this month ahead. I hope that this is not a theme that we will see, but based on the transit, it feels like there's a good chance to see that. So what I would suggest would be, especially with social media, and I even did this myself. I really unhooked from social media, and not just social media, really media in general. And I found that I felt more empowered and I could get more work done and I could be more focused in what I was doing. So I think that sometimes we get so drawn into the energy of the media and what's happening around the world. And maybe, maybe you don't have that connection with the media, which is probably healthy nowadays with what we see on TV and YouTube and all the other places. So ultimately, this is really a great month to step back away from that if you feel that it's drawing you in too much, because we will see potentially people using this as a power tool to really get power over people. The other perspective is Neptune moves back to gate 36, line 6, and that's going to happen on October 1st. And that is a big theme because this is bringing us back into this energy of crisis and chaos. But we know that the gate 36 is also here to dissolve crisis and chaos, to learn from what we are seeing around us. It is an experience gate. It is always where we find that we discover what is important for us to learn so that we can move forward in life. But with Neptune there, we don't always know what we need to learn. And so we have surprises that can kind of come out of nowhere. And this is what Neptune can bring, where you get what you don't expect, because we have the gate 35, which is half of the channel of the 35-36, which says that I expect this to happen, which doesn't always work to our advantage, mind you. But when we connect it with the gate 36, we say that this is where we're expecting something to happen and something completely different happens. And this is something we might see going forward in October. The other thing to remember is that the gate 36 is in opposition to the gate 6. The gate 6 is tribal energy. This is about my tribe against your tribe. This is about my people against your people. This is about uh, a level of importance that we put on the certain people because they are part of this particular group, and it can cause conflicts and it can cause wars and those types of things. This is tribal division. But having said that, we also have the gate 6, line 6, which is going to be in opposition to Neptune in the gate 36, line 6. And this is actually called the peacemaker. And so what this does bring, and I know that I might be hopeful in this, but it does bring an opening for peace. And really the peace that is, if the energy is open for peace, it doesn't mean it can happen. It means that if the right people are making the right decisions, that life can shift in a positive way. But having said that, who knows how it will play out? But there is an opening for peace. And if that happens, that would be lovely. The only fly in the ointment, you could say, with this energy is the gate 6, line 6, where Neptune is opposing, is really about a peaceful solutions coming together, diplomacy, getting plans made. Alternatively, this could be, I only want what I want, and if you're not willing to give it to me, then we're not going to have a deal. And so that could be the theme we see, or alternatively, we might see some peace and diplomacy. And on October 2nd, we have Mars going into the gate 53, and this will begin the shadow period for Mars because Mars is going to be going retrograde in December. So it's a great time to watch in your life and also globally some of the new beginnings that Mars is bringing. And this, always brings Martian energies, which is, this could be strategic thinking, this could be conflicts, wars, this can be courage, assertiveness, this could be the good general. So a lot of the Martian themes, yang energy, strong masculine energy, connected to new beginnings, which is the gate 53, practical solutions for the patterns, the gate 62, life experiences to heal or help the world, and also the gate 31, democratic leadership, or leadership that is for the people, that is elected by the people. So these are energies that we might see playing out in the globe as the month of October goes by, as well as November. So it's something to keep an eye on, because the themes that are beginning for the next 2 months, October and November, can be revisited right up until March 2025, because that's how long Mars is going to be transiting these energies. So things to keep in mind with the new beginnings that Mars brings is that sometimes there can be impatience that is attached to this energy, because Mars wants to move fast and get it done per se. So knowing where you're going, what your new beginning is going to be, and really understanding that usually when you start this new something, it's starting a new cycle. So understanding that this is part of the whole process to move forward, making sure that you feel empowered by the new beginnings that you're making, because you've made plans and you have an idea where you want to go. Gate 62 is also about impatience and not really getting the details before you start to share your practical solutions with other people, or share your practical solutions in your life and start to live them, because you haven't got all the details. So that's something to keep in mind. Mars wants to move fast, so getting the details you need, beginning something new that really feels good and you've done some good due diligence on, will really serve you well. And Mars in the gate 56 can bring this perspective of wanting to share your stories with the world, but sometimes getting a little carried away and losing the thread that the audience is just as important as the story. So those are all the types of themes that we can see going forward. So it is really moderation with Mars moving through these energies. But remember that two of these gates, the 56 and also the 62 that Mars will be transiting this month, are metamorphic gates. So it gives you the opportunity to translate the thoughts and the things that are in your mind into the world, to speak the energy. And when we speak the energy, that is when we get one step closer to manifesting something. So the gate 56 can be starting a new book, or starting something where you're talking about the experiences of your life through a podcast or something like that. So if you're sort of going through it in the perspective of understanding that it may take time before you build your audience, and it may take time for your audience sort of to get used to what you're doing, and also that the new beginnings that you're starting will need to take time and patience as well, because of course this is a new cycle that you're going to begin, where you have to wait for that seed to sprout through the ground, and no amount of more water, more sun, more anything will make that seed sprout any faster than it is going to. And so if you have that perspective of moderation and balance, and understanding that everything takes time, then you will fly through the energy of Mars moving through these gates with ease. So with that said, I hope you have a wonderful October ahead, and I will be back soon with an eclipse video. Until next time, take care and bye for now.